Good morning, everybody. Hear me okay? We good? You guys ready? Well, first of all, I want to thank everyone for coming out today. We have a little information on I call them old cases because cold cases are the ones that you're really not working on. But we are working on these cases. And I want to give everybody a little update and have a challenge for the community. First of all, we know the harder we work for these cases and the more persistent we are with these cases and the more prayer that's put into them, we can't solve them. We do need help. I mean, and I've said this from the beginning when I first was very fortunate enough to win the race as sheriff, that we can do this together. I can't do it all on my own. That's just the way it is. So I would ask you if you would pray for Crystal Bradshaw's case to have some justice to it. I do realize that if we make an arrest and there's 25 people arrested or one, it's not going to bring Miss Crystal back. But we at the Spartanburg County Sheriff's Office have resolved ourselves to speak for folks like Mrs. Crystal Bradshaw, because she can't talk today, but we're going to talk for her. The reason why I asked for this press conference and thought it was very appropriate, this is the 14th year anniversary. So let me just give you a little bit of a rundown of what we got, and then I got some things I want to challenge the community with. Miss Crystal Bradshaw was found murdered in her home on June the 3rd, 2007 at 107 North Brook Street in Bowling Springs, which is literally right behind us here, half a mile. The fire department was called because somebody noticed flames coming out of her home. This is the early part of the morning of June the 3rd. We believe that the murder took place in the evening on June the 2nd. She'd only lived in this place for 4 months, and this particular night she was home by herself because her and her husband, they were separated at this time. The husband was taking care of their young son because Miss Bradshaw had to go to work. Miss Bradshaw was only 28 years old when this tragedy occurred. She was a waitress at the Peach Blossom at 9 and 85. It's a very good, popular restaurant right down the road here. The night of the homicide, an unknown person was seen in the carport of the home when it was engulfed in flames. Neighbors were gathering and trying to help. The person left the scene before we could talk with them or anybody could identify who it was. We have a sketch that we will show you. We would like to announce for the 14th year anniversary that a $25,000 cash reward has been offered for whomever can give us information on what happened that night. We have some girls, and I've often said if you want a job done right, put the ladies on it. So we have ladies that work really hard, and they have done so good of getting us some answers to some of these older cases. So if you have any information on this case, which we will certainly give you to put more information on the news feed, but you need to call Miss Diane Lestich at 864-503-4556. That's 864-503-4556. Let me just say this to you. This is the challenge I have for you. If you have information, no matter how minute you think it might be, I want you to let us be the deciding factor whether it's useful to us or not. Because there are a lot of things that people see and a lot of things that people probably have thought about, and later it comes to you and you're thinking, well, they already know that. Please don't assume that. Don't assume that we know who the person is. Don't assume that, a car that you might have seen parked somewhere that was unusual, or somebody walking or running down the street. You might not recognize this person. The person we have the sketch of may not be the person that did this, but we would like to ask him. Don't assume it. Please let us figure it out. And when I tell you that Miss Diane Lessage and the team that she works with, she knows what she's doing. She can get it done. Today we have her brother Ben and her 11-year-old nephew Zachary that she never had the chance to meet. So we want to tell them that we love you and we're mourning with you, and still this is a case that we really think that we can solve. We we can do it with God's help, obviously, and we can also do it with somebody who 14 years ago might have been one way, and now you're another way. 14 years ago, you might not have been in a position to tell us things because of your lifestyle or your past or your confidence level, whatever the case. But I implore you, if you have any information, please sit and think about this. This is important. We're talking about a young girl's life here. We need some answers for her. The Spartanburg County Sheriff's Department is still dedicated. Every case that we have that's unsolved, we want to solve it. We just want to solve it. Is it possible? I think through Christ all things are possible. But we have to have some help. I remind you that the super motorbike case was a long time and then it got solved because it was the right time. I think now's the time. Now, I want to remind you that this $25,000 cash reward is good for 1 year. So, I mean, I really and truly, I need you to start thinking about what you may or may not have seen that night that may help us, may not. And you may tell us the same information we already know, but we're going to be thankful that you took your time and cared about your community and called us. I want you to keep Miss Myra in your prayers. That's Miss Bradshaw's mama. I've had conversations with her in my office, and I just absolutely cannot imagine what this poor lady's going through. It's bad enough when you lose a child, but to lose a child to somebody else's hands that you don't know, it makes you stop and think about who might have done this and why. They, you start playing the blame game. And Miss Myra needs some answers. That's just the bottom line. She needs answers. So I will try to answer questions if I may. We will be giving out the report with a lot more details, but I don't know. Let me get this poster here. It's got a whole lot better picture. This is a picture of Miss Bradshaw. That's when she was a little younger, and that was when she was working at the Peach Blossom. So, I mean, she's a girl next door. This is the person of interest that we would like to talk to that may or may not have information that we need. Just like I told you, this guy may not have done anything, but we need to talk to him, find out. We need to know, okay? So, if you guys will please keep this in the forefront of your mind because it's important. If something happened to your sister, your mom, your niece, your nephew, any of those things, somebody would want someone to say something. So that's what we're asking for you to do today. Okay? I'll try my best to take questions if I may. Did I cover everything that well? Well, I don't know because we don't know who the person of interest is. Yes, ma'am. I wish I could, but I don't know. It could have been somebody that was just going up the street and was like, whoa, there's a fire. I mean, it could have been just that simple, but we would like to ask him. We have a billboard. If you can see it behind me here. We have a billboard put up that's going to help people keep this in the forefront of their mind too. So the more you are gracious enough to play this and remind people of the billboard, the better it's going to be. We also have a traffic thing that we put up somewhere up Highway 9, and it's got the case on it, and it'll be flashing about, hey, if you have information. So, I can't imagine that being my sister. I can't imagine that being just a friend of mine and not knowing. So, again, I want to remind you that you may have been in a struggling position or in a bad position when all this took place and had a little information you really wanted to tell someone, didn't know how to. So let me just say this to you. I pray that you are in a different spot. Because I used to be one way, now I'm another. And I'm talking about spiritually. So I want you guys to really think. I really want you to think, and I want you to be very cognizant of the fact that you could change somebody's life for the better. Miss Bradshaw's father passed away sometime within a year and a half ago. He never got to find out. I pray that they're both in heaven is what I pray, and I pray that it don't matter now to them. But it matters to us left here. So God is a God of love, no question about it. He's also a God of justice. So really appreciate you coming out today. And on behalf of the family, the more you can get this out, and the more you can talk about it, the better off it will be. All the Facebook fans and friends out there, talk about it a lot. Talk about it a lot. If you have information on any unsolved homicide, call that number, call me, I don't care. We will do whatever it takes to, within the reason to help get these solved, because these people deserve answers. All right? Okay, thank you guys. I really appreciate you being here today. We will be getting all this. We'll be getting all this to you.